Hello, everybody. This is Angel Arts, and welcome to the very first Let's Interview the finalists for the upcoming Athenaeum tabletop campaign. Here to kick us off, we have Thistle. Welcome, Thistle.
Hello.
Hey.
So good to see you. I love the new glasses. I don't know if they're new, but they're new to me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love them too.
The design is fantastic. It almost looks like, I don't know. It almost looks like the Adam West Catwoman like ears.
Oh my god, yes.
I decided to embrace my inner crazy cat lady. So,
Is it actually designed after cats? Is it
it's a cat. It's just a cat eye glasses. They're just extreme. But
It is.
I have 6 cats anyway, so I am a crazy cat lady. So
That is cute. I don't know if you saw the Anne Hathaway Catwoman when she was with Christian Bale, but you know how she puts the glasses up on her head and they look like cat ears. Like I feel like you could just do the same thing with your glasses. That's so cute.
Oh no.
Oh no.
It's okay. This happens all the time. I need new ones.
Okay. Well.
There we go.
Well, I'm glad. We wouldn't want a wardrobe malfunction during your interview because that could be bad. But anyway, also joining us is Jordan.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Jordan, for volunteering to help out with these interviews, and hopefully this isn't too disruptive of your time zone schedule. So.
It's a Saturday night. I got time to be awake.
Okay, great. So, I am now just going to get out of the way and let Jordan run the show.
Awesome. So, I guess I just kind of want to start with like the main concept in general. So pirates kind of have a pretty defined stereotype in most media. What common themes do you want to implement, and how do you plan to expand on them to try and make him, stand apart from other pirates in pop culture?
Well, for me, like, I've always loved pirate fantasy, especially like Treasure Island and Peter Pan and all those kind of things. So I love a lot of like the stereotypical, like, he's missing an eye, he has a peg leg, and he's just salty and rough around the edges. But the way I want to make him a little bit different is that he's actually like, he's very charismatic. You like him even though he's not a good guy. He is the villain of his story. But I want people to like him and like, oh, why is he the villain? I like him. And those are characters I resonate with and I love to see, but you never see them with pirates usually. Pirates are usually one-dimensional. Arg, I'm going to go steal the treasure and kill anyone who's in my way.
Yeah. And on a gameplay level, what unique things do you think you might want to potentially incorporate? Like some kind of, if you're thinking like a special ability or a particular skill that you want to maybe give him?
He's definitely a smooth talker, so anything involving charisma, deception especially, he is one who plays with deception all the time. So he would be a weird one in terms of, I don't know the GURP system, unfortunately, so I don't know how exactly that all works. But he is one where he is in his element where he can trick and deceive people into doing what he wants and being able to maintain control. He is a controlling person, and he does that either through intimidation or through charisma. He's not physically capable of doing a lot of things. Like I said, he has a peg leg, so he's slow, not very dexterous. He's an older man. He's nearing 50. So physically, he's not that adept, but he gets by just being able to talk other people into doing what he needs them to do.
And aside from the pirate fantasy genre that he's coming from, what sort of genres do you most anticipate your character exploring?
I think he'd be hilarious, at least, to explore like a children's novel. Because, he's not something like, I was talking to Kiwi, like B and him would not get along. And I also think like romance would be interesting for him because, again, he's an older gentleman, not really like romantic, so a romance genre would be very alien to him, but could be interesting and fun and might bring out new sides to him.
And should you get through, what would excite you the most about playing this campaign?
Other than I'm a big book nerd. I don't know. Like, I've been auditioning for so long. I love Angel Arts campaigns. I've been wanting to get in one for so long, and all the finalists are amazing. So no matter what, it's going to be a great group, and I just want to get in and play with some people and explore characters and themes and see the horror tropes get put onto different characters and just see how we can screw up characters from different genres by sticking them into other genres together.
Questions to ad hoc.
I do, but before I do that, I wanted to just plug in that one thing that I find the most unique about Thistle's character is I don't think any other auditioner is at least interviewing with a quote-unquote villain character. And so that in of itself, I think, is going to be a really cool element to the party, having someone that is at least in their book is a villain. So I guess my immediate question is, as you probably know, Thistle, having characters that are a little bit antagonistic can be problematic to the group dynamic. So how are you planning on preventing such things from happening?
Well, he's not. Like I said, he is manipulative. So he is one. He even in his story, he's undercover and he befriends the protagonist of the story, and so he's like a semi-twist villain technically. So he'll be your best friend until it's like, this is what I want, I'm gonna get it. So he is going to be the most helpful, the most friendly person until it's time to, oh, here's my goal, see you later.
I like that.
So.
Yeah, and who knows like what the relationships will be like by that point, by the time. Yeah, that would be very interesting.
And I'm all for like my characters changing as I play. That's one of my favorite parts of role play is like I can have a character who starts out being super selfish and, oh crud, I've learned how to love people. Darn it. Can't be selfish anymore.
Playing an antagonistic or villainous character is not one thing that I would recommend or feel comfortable with a newer player, which is why I have zero qualms, and I feel like I can, if I'm going to trust a villainous character with anyone, it would be you, Thistle. So, my next question is, I know that you created a video all about this, but for the people who hadn't had a chance to see the video, could you just take a few moments to sell your universe and your world that your character is from? What is it about this world that would make it interesting, fun, unique for the players to visit?
So this world that my character's from the book called The Atoll of Whispers, it is set very much based in reality of the late 1600s. Technology's kind of advancing, but kind of not. Guns are a thing, but pocket watches are a brand new thing. So in that weird dilemma, the biggest difference is all those old sailor stories, all those folklores, they're real. So there's a kraken, there's sirens, there's mermaids, there's cursed gold. And while it can be a book and a story and a world that's very fitting for children and teenagers, it also has very adult themes and really dark and some dark bits and can be funny. It's a very wide, diverse world that is familiar but twisted. And also it's mostly taking place on a boat. And you can always come up with fun things to do on a boat, on the ocean, which is in and of itself hard and terrifying to do. So it brings in a little bit of horror as well as a bit of whimsy and mystery and magic.
Great. My final question, Thistle, because you have interviewed several times in the past, what would you say has been your biggest improvement since the last time you interviewed?
Comfort, for one. Every time I've gotten a bit more comfortable, a bit more confident. Other than that, I've learned a lot because after every time I've interviewed, I've made sure to ask, what could I improve on? And the one thing I've learned is make sure my character is memorable. And I believe I have a character who is memorable. I believe that I chose an interviewer who can help portray that. And I have a character that's very close to my heart, and I want to really show that.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I was hoping you're going to say give the feedback I gave you last time, and that's exactly what I said to you last time, and I'm looking forward to the role playing session. So Okay. Back to you, Jordan.
Oh, okay. Get into character. So, the dark and stormy weather is your only melody in the blackness of the brig. Your ship has never been taken so easily, but admittedly, the rival crew outnumbered you 5-1. The dull drumming of the waves against the hull awake you from your induced slumber. You have been beaten, but not too badly. You still have your senses. The creaking of a cell door opening catches your attention. So when you look up, there are two gentlemen. You recognize that they are from this rival crew. Now, just for some context, your crew had been raiding the coastline for some time now, and you discovered a map to some kind of treasure trove hidden within this island you had been raiding. Now, so that it could be kept secret, there's no physical map anymore. The map is entirely in your head now. You've memorized it. So these gentlemen walk in. Reginald, right? The captain.
Aye, but my friends call me Black Powder these days.
Yes, this is what I was hoping for. Right, you're the captain.
Aye, I am.
Well, our captain wants to speak with you.
Oh,
Have a
by all
little heart to
means.
heart.
Always happy to have a palaver with a fellow sailor.
Mm-hmm. Let's give you a hand. They roughly grab you. It seems all in jest as you're hauled to your feet a little unnecessarily. The chains are starting to burn at your wrists a little bit as you are dragged. Are you resisting at all, or are you going quite comfortably?
Just gonna go quite comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Smile on my face.
Right. You are brought into what you assume is a captain's quarters. Fortunately, it is nicer than yours. Well, not for too much longer. There, sitting at the desk, is a man you haven't seen before. He seems to be mulling over a bunch of different maps of the area. And he doesn't look up at you at first. And then his eyes lift to meet yours. Captain, take a seat.
Well, thank you very much, Cap. Just go over and sit down.
This man is very distinct in appearance. He's got tawny skin, a little bit like the natives of the island, a bit of a goatee on his chin, dark hair. But most distinctive of all is his cap, which appears to be dyed red. You've got quite the haul, the other captain says, on your ship. Been keeping quite busy, I see.
Well, there's not much else to do out on the seas, is there?
There's a lot to do. Why is your crew here? Out of curiosity.
We needed some more money. Ugh, accent. And, we've been doing this for a long while, and it was about time that we stocked up again. That's all. Happened to be in the neighborhood.
And you didn't happen to find anything. He pauses and takes a over-dramatic seat, lifting his legs up to cross one over the other on his desk very casually. In another life, you guys might have been friends. I don't suppose you found anything interesting on your travels along this coast?
Well, I did see a two-headed lizard. That was quite interesting. Other than that, though, the usual things, a bit of gold, a few interesting objects in people's houses, and nice pocket watch.
Right. And that's it, just the shiny stuff. Nothing else?
I believe I found an old sea chart somewhere, but not really of use to me. I don't really go down into the deeps of the ocean myself. I prefer to stay on the boat.
Interesting. He kind of sweeps aside his seaman's tools. See, our crew, we're just in the neighborhood too. And we happen to hear stories about a map to a treasure trove. Now, there's no other raiders here. It's just you and me. I know you found it. I can see it in your eyes you've found it.
Mayhaps I did. Don't have it anymore, though, I'm afraid.
And why is that?
It fell. Some of me crew got sloppy. Dropped right into the drink.
You're not much good to me alive, are you?
Oh, I can be plenty good alive.
Mm-hmm. Like what? How would you be good? Exactly, because I need this map, and you're saying you don't have it anymore.
Right, you see, well, for one thing, I always tell wonderful stories. I'm a good cook. I used to be a cook on the ship before I became a pirate. And I've memorized the map entirely.
Is this some kind of and he stops. You've memorized it.
Aye.
Could you draw it again?
Probably. Not the best artist, admittedly, but I can at least, get you in a big direction. Bit old these days, me hands shake and whatnot.
But everything's got a cost, doesn't it? Are you just going to give this to me freely?
I'll see why not. There's plenty of other treasure out in the world for me and me crew to get. I want my ship back. You know how attached a captain is to their ship.
It's not much of a ship with several holes in it.
Fair enough. Perhaps a new one, then. After all, you should be able to afford it once you get all of that wonderful treasure.
And there it is, the catch. Why shouldn't I, then, get you to draw the map and just kill you after it? What's stopping me from doing that?
Because you just told me you might, and therefore I'm not going to because I'm actually smart.
That's a good point. He's a little caught off guard by that.
You see, lad, you're still pretty young. I've been doing this for decades now. Certain things come with experience. I can help you. I may not be great at landing parties and, digging up the treasure myself anymore, with this busted old leg and whatnot, but I'm smart. I know the tricks to look out for. I could lead you there myself. All you'd have to do is go up on shore and dig it up. You could even keep some of your crew here to make sure I don't steal your ship. All I want is for me and me crew to get our own little ship and sail away and let bygones be bygones.
Listen, mate, I'm no kid, okay? You don't get a ship this big and act like a kid, he says very arrogantly. So you listen to me. It seems like he's about to go on some kind of tirade. This is actually a good plan. Go on. So, hold up. You're saying I go ashore and dig it up myself, and you will happily sit here with most of my crew. You wouldn't try anything funny?
Well, I don't see what that would gather me. Your crew does outnumber mine significantly. And like I said, I'm an old man. If you wish to send somebody else to go dig it up and you stay here yourself, that's entirely up to you. You command your own crew. I'm just saying you'd be responsible for organizing that. I'm not the best for wandering through sand and jungles after all.
Right.
I don't believe I caught your name.
You can call me Redcap. Very
Redcap.
apt name, considering the color of his hat.
Very suited for you, lad.
Thanks. Let me ask you something. Maybe this will change my mind, maybe it won't. What motivates you, Captain?
Oh, just the joy of being on the sea. Freedom. Not being bogged down by those tricks in the Navy. I like traveling. I like getting to see new things. I like treasure. I mean, I wouldn't be in this profession if I didn't. But it's the freedom that really gets me.
So, it's the chase, not the fortune, would you say?
Aye, but the fortune is a nice little benefit as well.
Right. He kind of stares at you for a moment, nods, and it's kind of like a mutual understanding happens for a moment. I think I like you, Captain.
I think I like you too.
Tell you what, I'll do the honors of trusting you. But obviously I don't need to remind you that if you try anything, I can always kill your crew and blow up your ship. Just so you know where you stand.
Of course.
But if you help me find this treasure, I'll buy you a new ship.
Do I have your word as a gentleman on that?
My sincerest promise. Let's put it like that.
It'll do.
Very well. Hope you don't mind going back in the brig. We're out of comfy beds.
Oh, not at all. Just need me rest is all. It's been a long day for an old man.
Mm-hmm. Tell the rats I said hi. He kind of gives a snort, like he's intelligent. And as if on cue, you're grabbed and pulled back to your cell, a bit more graciously than last time. And we'll close this off with you're in the cell now. The storm seems to have calmed down a little bit. It's not as ramped up as what it was. And you have a moment by yourself to think about your next course of action. I guess the real question is, what does he think he's going to get out of this? Camaraderie, fortune, or just another good story?
So my question is, on my way back down to the brig, did I by any chance get to see the part of the ship where they keep their cannons and black powder?
Absolutely.
Then he starts formulating a plan.
Alrighty.
Certain things come with experience. And there's a reason he has his nickname.
Tell us about your character executing said plan to escape. Why don't you just give us cinematically what happens during their escape?
Well, during the trip to the treasure and the island, and he does as he said he would, he'd lead him right to the island, whether or not the captain stays with him himself or goes on to find the treasure himself. But along the trip, Black Powder's been talking to his guards and telling them funny stories, and he's just an old man who's living out his glory days on the seas as he loves to. And eventually one of them lets their guard down, and he manages to, without getting, well, he chokes him out basically, steals their keys, goes to where they keep their cannons and black powder, sets it on fire, and escapes to his ship, and waves goodbye as they sail away from the island, and will come back later after they've all starved to death.
Nice. What a nice man.
Let's say that some time passes by, and I don't know if it's some members of this crew that managed to escape and live to tell the tale but now wants revenge, or really any other, maybe it's a rival pirate, maybe it's some group that decides to antagonize your crew and your ship. And let's say that this other ship and crew is now getting into sea combat with you. Can you again paint us a picture of how you see this going about? What are some of the things that the captain is doing in order to get past this annoying conflict?
Well, if they're in sea combat, he would observe the situation, see what's going on, where the wind is, what the weather's like, whether or not what type of ship they have versus what type of ship he has, and figure out what their weakness is. And then at that point, he would ensure that his ship is positioned in a way that will give him the most effective way of either escape or combat, depending which is more prevalent. Such as, essentially, I can't remember what it's actually called, but creating a T. So you're at the ship's, your ship is horizontal, whereas their ship is vertical. And therefore you can completely destroy their masts and the whole front of their ship and sink them pretty fast with a few good cannon fire. If they're also high in cannons, then a boarding party. Get in there and once again blow it up from the inside, because that's where the ship is the weakest. And if the wind is in their favor, they will flee.
Let's say that sometime during this battle, your crew manages to capture the other ship's captain, and they're dragging the captain onto your ship and throwing him in front of you, and now you have to decide this other captain's fate. What does the captain decide to do with this man?
He'll talk to him, see what skills he has, how long he's been sailing. If he seems skilled, he'll offer him a position on his ship as a crewman. And if he refuses, he is sunk to the bottom of the ocean or keel-hauled, depending on how bad he damaged his crew and ship.
Cool, thank you. I appreciate all of the extra insight. Thank you.
I know too much about nautical shit.
No, I love it. I love it.
Hello there, Captain Black Powder here to talk to you. So, there's a reason why you should bring me along, and I know you're wondering probably, what do you want with an old, past the days of his prime sea dog with you? Well, I'll tell you, I'm smart. I can be your best friend. I know lots of good skills, and I got experience on my side. Experience that a bunch of you young folk just don't have. You need someone who can look after you and teach you the ropes of how to properly adventure out there. I have many skills, including reading maps, sailing a ship, and, of course, I'm a pretty good cook. And I can always tell you the best stories of my adventures. I guarantee you'd regret it if you didn't bring me along. After all, who doesn't love a good adventure?